What's up, guys? Killer back here, another Empires and Puzzles video. Today we're going to be talking about the hero of the month, my man ZOCC. In New York, I'm Millie Rock. I hide it in my ZOCC. I hide it in my sock. Or I hide it in my ZOCC. I don't know. I mean, maybe Millie Rock was hiding in his ZOCC. Who knows? So, anyway, ZOCC is the new green hero of the month, man. And let me tell you something. No, I don't think so. Let's look. So we've got a new green hero of the month. I want to say something before we even get into the stats and everything all else. For those who don't know what this character, the drawing and the type of character this is called a yodel. They're a yodel. So what it is, it's a small frame human with a big head. Okay, that's called a yodel. And we're getting a couple of them. The new blue hero of the month is coming out, I think, right before, I think in November. She's also a yodel. Yodel. Anyway, I might be saying it wrong. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying about if you follow anything with animation or games or anything like that, they're yodels. They're yodels. I don't think we even have any more yodels in the game, matter of fact. So ZOCC might be the very first yodel. Let me make sure I'm not saying something crazy. Grimble's a dwarf, so it's a little different. Let me see here. I don't think we have another yodel in the game. Let me make sure. I don't think season 3 has any. Yeah, so I think he's our first yodel. Yodel, I think I'm saying that right. I might be saying it wrong. Anyway, somebody will correct me. For those who play League of Legends, Nar's yodel, Teemo's a yodel. God, what's my girl's name? She's a paladin in League of Legends. I used to like her before they reworked her. Anyway, she's a yodel. It's quite a bit of them in League of Legends. But I think it's interesting that they're bringing that humanoid um to Empires and Puzzles. And he might be a little tall to be considered a yodel, but his head's big enough to be a yodel. Either way it goes, ZOCC's a yodel. And in my opinion, this clearly clears up if Telluride is male or female, because clearly Kingston had intercourse with Telluride and ZOCC came out, because that's exactly who this is. Look, he's green from the forest, plays with knives like his daddy. He's kind of a forest creature like his mama. ZOCC. There you go. So that's where ZOCC came from, guys, and that's what I mean. He's kind of darker green like Kingston, dark skin, light skin. You know how it goes. Anyway, so a little comedic, a little joke for those. Don't get mad at me. I know I'm not supposed to say all that, but that's what happened here. And I mean, you gotta think fighter and paladin clearly make a rogue. Duh. So ZOCC I believe, is our first yodel in the game. You might be consider him like a forest elf, whatever, but I'm gonna go with yodel. His ears are way too big, and so is his head. He's a yodel. And I think the new chick that's coming out, the blue hero of the month of November, she's gonna be a yodel too. But you guys look into that. Playing with knives and swords. ZOCC comes as 5-star, resistant to water. I don't think that really matters. The reason I don't think that matters is because I don't think you guys are gonna give this guy six tonics. Um, First off, Kingston's in front of him. Tellurida's in front of him. Liliana's in front of him. Evelyn's in front of him. Honestly, for me, Margaret's in front of him. It's just a lot of other green heroes I would use before him. I would even go off on a limb to say I personally would use Gregarion before him, because at least Gregarion buffs the team to crit rate up to where their team is at least better. He doesn't do anything for your team. This guy's an independent. He's not even an independent contractor. He's an independent worker. And the reason I say that is because independent contractor, and the difference here, this is the difference between the two. Independent contractor at least takes care of himself. ZOCC don't take care of himself. He does. I mean, other than if he's you're getting that, the resistance to the 30% to specials, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, that's a great buff. But he has no healing. He has no defense. He has no offense up. He has no offense down. He has no defense down. He has no heal over time. He has no heal. He has no share damage. He's not doing it for you. He's not an independent contractor. And when I'm saying, for example, for instance, let's just use Obacon. Obacon has reflex, so at least you think before you hit Obacon. Elena has reflex, so at least you think to hit him before. Independent contractor, even though Elena does it to 3, so a little bit more different there. But like for instance, Guardian Owl, heal over time. Um, King Arthur reduces the special, reduces the damage of his opponent, adds a shield down to his opponent. That's an independent contractor. In other words, like I hit you, but when you hit me, it's not going to affect me like I hit you. Now you might say, well, ZOCC's doing the mindless. Okay, let's say you have a a diamond off the rip and he goes off. Well, if the enemy doesn't have any mana and he goes off, 50% more mana didn't really do anything. If they don't get any more mana for 3 turns because you're avoiding that hero, now you just buffed the hero's mana. So I'm cool with it, but I'm not cool with it. And I mean, we can read more into it and like get a little bit more where the mindlesses come in, but it's 3 turns on the mindless. If it's 4 turns on the mindless at average, I'd be like, okay, he's a little better, but for right now, I don't feel like the 3 turns is really helping you as much as you think it is. Um, you catch a dry board, this guy's garbage. You catch a good board, this guy could possibly still be garbage. And that's just where I'm at with him. TC did a video a little bit earlier than me, and I said on my Discord, he read my mind because I was actually going to drop one this morning, but I had to go pick up my bike, which is running great. Thank you to the guys at Foothill and Easley, Foothill Motorsports and Easley, or Power Sports and Easley. They did great work. If you're in South Carolina and you want to take your bike somewhere, take it there. Don't take it to your boy off Wade Hampton. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, um, so yeah, I don't think this guy's an independent contractor. He's geared to be kind of an independent contractor, but he's what I would consider a new class of hero, and it's kind of an older class, but we really haven't announced it. Like before, you have your tank class, you have your sniper class, you have your healing class, you have your buff class, and then you have your gambling class, which is one of the classes that me and that dad, when we were doing the stronghold, made up or created, and it makes sense. Your gambling classes like your Wukong, your Rumple, your I can't even get his name out, the yellow guy from season 2. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Your gambling class. We're entering a new class of hero for the ones who don't do what they're supposed to do, and you could kind of say, you have your dot class, DOT class, and you have some other ones. But we're entering a new class of hero, and Nor kind of fits this detail, and so does ZOCC. They're what's called the trick class of hero. Basically what it is, it's people that do a trick instead of doing something that we're normally used to them doing. ZOCC is a trick hero. He could technically be considered a sniper, but his damage is too low to be considered a sniper. It's not 400 plus. I don't consider them snipers on the special. So ZOCC to me is a trick hero. Basically, you're playing to a trick of his special for him to converge to beating your opponent. The trick is mindless. Clearly, he adds mana. You think about adding mana to somebody and then doing your trick. It's a risque trick. Like the dodge class heroes would be considered a trick hero. We would consider them gambles because you're gambling on the dodge, but it's a trick class. And the reason it's not gamble versus trick is because the trick in this one is the fact that the special has to work for the special to really make complete sense. Like ZOCC goes off and it works, the mindless goes off. Oh yeah, that's almost a guaranteed. This is almost a guaranteed shutdown. What I will say is that mindless is one of those new mana controls, but I don't like the fact he's adding mana to it. I personally would rather shoot the tile for three turns into the hero that he hits and then let the mana go up. Now, if his mana goes up, that'd be different. Let's get into him. So ZOCC is a rogue, the water resistance, that's cool. He's green going against Vela. We only have one hero that's water resistant. That's why I don't necessarily think that's that great. Now, on the flip side, Vela is on 90% of the team's fighting rating, so maybe that's a good one. So plus there. Damage, 739 is actually pretty low for green. I think 750 up is about right for green, but hey, cool. 739, I'm not mad about that. 725 for the defense. Looks like he can stay alive. And 1351, there's a pretty good base stats. Based off what I'm seeing right now, if you're going rogue class, I'm kind of in the point now to where I don't agree with defense anymore for emblems. And I can get to that in a later video, but if I were you, I would go attack health with this guy. And then if you wanted to tank him, go health attack. don't worry about the defense. Just go attack and go health. It's opinion, but I've changed kind of away from defense and health. Go attack health or health attack. That's the way I'd recommend. Um, Deals 300 damage to the target. Doesn't hit anybody else. So an average person only does 300% to the damage. TC made a good point. Melosi does this and very fast. So in 3 tiles in and out, Melosi can do this. 6 tiles against people, he can do this. ZOCC is already at 12 tiles off the rip with your full team up. You need a hole for him to really be effective. Regularly, and then getting a green board. So not happy with that. All right, increases the mana of the target by 50%. So now a target I hit now has a bust of 50%. Cool. Now that doesn't look great on right off the rip. Like, what I will say is ZOCC is kind of like, you're going to change your targeting when his special comes up. You're going to be like, oh, this guy's a little bit over 50%. If I give him the 50%, he'll mindless himself, he'll kill himself, or you'll control the man that way. That's cool. Similar to Melosi with the shutdown, this guy actually does a full mana control, which I kind of like that. Now that I will say, at average speed, that's cool, but it's only one person being affected. I don't like that. I think they should go ahead and boost him up to fast. No reason for him to be average. And I know why he's average, because you can't make everybody fast, but it's just the meta we're in is just so quick. I mean, people are just 30 heroes, Telluride, you do the mana bonus, you're talking about adding an additional 15% mana ink speed to another 2%, 17% increase on mana speed for your tanks now. It's just you're too slow, ZOCC. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Next one, the target automatically casts mindless attack on a random ally when mana is full during the 3 turns. Now it doesn't say it casts on himself, but it doesn't say it won't cast on himself. So if you happen to fill up the mana of the target and don't kill him, he possibly would cast mana on himself because he'd be the only person full. Now that is the question. I don't have research. I don't know. I don't have any of the facts there. So that point in the video, that point of this hero, we don't know yet. I'm sure they'll be filmed. I'm sure we'll find one. It's going to be very hard to find this guy the first day because I just don't see people doing it. Now, if you've been waiting on this guy, power to you. If you're in love with Merlin, love with Gretel and Hansel, okay, I got you. But I don't see people leveling this guy right away. Not to mention, Hansel and Gretel are the same, and they hit 3. And Gretel will only target 1 with a mind control, but Hansel is fast and hits, I want to say, almost as hard as this guy does. So, and he buffs himself. So this guy's just like matter of fact, there you go. He's a slower Hansel. ZOCC is a slower Hansel. There you go. Okay. Class mindless attack randomly on ally. This when the mana is full. Duration is 3 turns. This is another problem I have him. He's an average with a 3-turn buff. No. This needs to be 4 turns at average. Possibly 6. Bring back 6 turns. I ain't gonna front. I love 6-turn stuff. Season 1 had all 6-turn stuff for defensive down, offensive up. I don't know what happened to 6 turns, but I missed 6 turns. It'd probably be a little OP in this arena. But as you can see, another thing too, we'll go down to the elemental link, but we've got the elemental link of all nature allies get 30% defense against special for 4 turns. Okay, cool. I remember when this used to be 6 turns. If you look at the first season, the first elemental link heroes, they have 6 turns of this stuff. They've recently reduced it to 4. What's up with that? But here's another average hero. Average hero. It still has less abilities than Vela, and Vela does it all to everyone. This doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to make them average and we're in this era, it should have been 300% damage to three targets, mindless randomly cast on 3 allies. That would have been cool. Then I'd have been like, yo, ZOCC might be the man. But right now it's just 1. And again, he's not an independent contractor. He's an independent worker. This mindless is not helping you. For instance, if this mana increase goes up, and the mindless goes on to somebody that's full mana, if the mindless doesn't go on the hero the target he hits, you just basically gave a 50% buff to an enemy for no reason. I mean, it's not unforeseen for you to do 3 turns and not fill up the mana on an enemy team. I'm just being honest. Like, for instance, I'm targeting a tank, and let's say you, I don't know, don't target or you misfire. ZOCC just hits the wing, right? Let's say he hits, I don't know, most wings. Let's see, a Seishat, a Jabberwocky, or whatever. It's not unlikely for a Jabberwocky or a Seishat in 4 turns to get full mana before that three's up, and then you give him 50% buff. So now they're ready, waiting on that fourth turn. Bam, the mana just automatically goes up a little bit because you just fired off, and then they just smoke you. Something to think about. He, if I'm playing him and I'm using him, and this is who I'm after him, I'm hoping to get his special off in the first 4 turns minimum. Otherwise, he is null and void, and I just don't think he's what we're looking for. ZOCC is not as bad as Nor. Nor's a little bit trickier. I think she's a little bit more tricky to use. I think ZOCC is definitely more usable than Nor, but this is not the hero you want. If you've been playing the game as long as I have, you have other heroes that are more important and in a little bit in better shape. For instance, I would do Catalan before ZOCC. I would do probably another Tarlac before ZOCC. I'm not gonna go with Yunnan. I would definitely do Atomos before ZOCC. I would do another Kingston before ZOCC. I would do another Gargarion before ZOCC. I would do Evelyn before ZOCC. I would do Hatter before ZOCC because Hatter is a little bit more viable. He's already at 330 damage average, and he hits the target and minor damage to the nearby allies. I mean, they should have added that to him at least, and I think his damage needs to go up at least another 100%. He should be about, I'll go with 380 to 425 at this meta. I mean, he needs to hit somebody. He needs to hurt somebody. I would do an Elkanon almost before ZOCC. I would definitely do a Liliana before ZOCC because now I have the costume. And I would do, that looks like all of them. That's most of my greens. I possibly will be pulling for him. Pirates is out this month, I believe. I believe it's Pirate Month. And then also, I need to get the 4-star pig from season 3, and I'm kind of curious to see the season 3 hero because I believe it's going to be Thor's mom. So, and if it's Thor's mom, she's fast and she hits all, and she does a little bit more damage. ZOCC, you guys get ZOCC by all means. 70 cap, have some fun. I personally wouldn't use the 6 tonics on him. He's pretty cool looking. Again, he's the first of the Yodel, so happy for that. But this is not the power of the Yodels. Like, I think the blue November chick, when she comes out, you'd be like, oh, this is the power. Yeah, that's how Yodels are supposed to be. They're supposed to be they're supposed to be like underestimated because they're small, but pack mad power because they have a big head and they think. But that's not what they did with this Yodel. They made him cast mindless on some random enemies, and he's trying to be like his daddy Kingston, but it's not quite his mother Telluride, and I'm sorry, it's just lackluster. But look, guys, 18 minutes into this video, that's all I got. I just wanted to go over him. I'm not pulling for him until there's a banner. There's no banner. I'm not going to waste gold coins on this guy. I don't recommend you do either. SG, better than Nor, but not quite. This is disappointing. 300%, 50% mana increase in the 3 turns. The 300 and 3 are two disappointing things. If this was 4, 5, or 6, and if this was like 450 and minor damage to targets, now we have an average person. And that's another thing too. Is kind of weird because most averages, Thorn, Frida, Athena, Grim, Gormick, Tibertus. I mean, look at Guardian Kong. Just a lot of them just hit 3 or more, and at least they do the share damage. I mean, or the minor damage. That would be nice. At least let him do minor damage, because that way at least he's trying to hit more than one. That way the mindless attack kind of takes over. Even if the one you hit, it has a minor damage. At least they got minor damage. When that mindless goes off, they hit themselves. At least they possibly can kill themselves. And that's the fun part about mindless. Alfreak does mindless too, but she does mindless to everybody on the board about. So, it's crazy. I was surprised that they didn't put him a little bit faster, and then like the minor damage to the sides, like Tiger target nearby allies. It just seems like that's where he should be. He should be hitting three, and that the 300% at three. Nobody's mad about that at average. That would be. They just need to add one more piece to this little part right there. Other than that, guys, I don't have anything else really much to say about them. Pull at will. I personally recommend not a level. Don't max them. Um, Take your time. There's better greens in the game. Um, there's better other heroes in the game that you can just do, your tome and D blade with. If this is the first 5-star you got, and you're like, hey man, this is all I got, by all means go for it. But the position I would use him at, based off his stats, is probably flank. If you're building a team around him and you just started off, probably I'd say run like a blue tank with him green flanking. He doesn't look like he's a wing. You definitely want him to go off as much as possible, so flank. Um, if you were to take him up more of a tanking route, I could see him tanking because his stats are decent, but he's not a tank. Him being a rogue does make him a little more viable at 20 because you're talking about a 30% dodge rate, and then not to mention higher health and all that stuff, and he's resistant to Vela, but being resistant to Vela doesn't really help me out. They should have done with him? It made him resistant to mana or silence or that, because that way when Telluride hits him, he doesn't get hurt, because after Telluride hits this guy, he's really like a waste. He's not a waste of hero, but it's going to take even longer for you to recover and come back. Guys, that's all I got on ZOCC. You know, in New York, I'm Millie Rock. I hide it in my ZOCC. I wish you just stay hidden, ZOCC. But, killer out. Peace.